But I can think of times where everybody has the opportunity on occasion to do the right thing or take a shortcut. You know, I think the decision you make there has an impact on things, obviously.
One that comes to mind is we just finished tying in a pump station, and we got looking in here. There's a defect in the pipe from the factory, nothing we did. The guys noticed it. We went to inspection and brought it up to them, and we could have buried it. Nobody would have known it, but it turned out, it came out to be a good thing because they appreciated the honesty, and you know, we gained a little trust at the same time. Well, it kind of reminded me that it's okay to spend a little extra resources if you have to do it right.
I was actually still in SQC in the field. I was out with a crew. It was getting kind of late in the afternoon. Rain was coming in, and they were going to do a purge, and the utility inspector wanted them to kind of do it an old school way, just purging out of plastic, which is something we don't do. We require a stack, and it's got to be grounded in metal and have a valve and all that sort of thing. And kind of saw what was going on. I talked to the foreman, and he was like, yeah, that's how he wants us to do it. He's like, I know, we're really not supposed to. And it's like, well, we can't, and I mean, we're not going to do it that way. So I went, and the inspector was not happy, and he kind of yelled at me a little bit, but it was all right. I mean, I was able to, just sort of take it and move on. It kind of deflected it off of that foreman. In the end, we were able to get it resolved. We got a stack built, we grounded it, the thing, it purged out. We were able to get it done, got everything capped, shut off, and no harm came. And at the, that inspector didn't talk to me for probably 6 months. It was just kind of one of those moments where it was like I had the opportunity to either, I could have left, let them go ahead and do it. They'd done it that way before. Nothing probably would have happened. But at the same token, we kind of say, hey, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to follow standard. We're going to do it by the rules. Like, I knew that's not what we were about, and what we, I couldn't do that. If I leave knowing that's going to happen, I'm saying that's okay. That's not following through on our values. And then if something bad happened, that's even worse. But I was also able to, so I was able to kind of stress that and show that when we do talk about these things and we say we're gonna do it the right way, that it's not just lip service. We actually mean that.
There was a situation where we were working on a HDD drill. It was carbon steel. It was a larger size pipe. When the pipe came out the other end, it had a minor dent in it. You can tell there was something. The ovality wasn't quite there, and there was a lot of questions. Do we let it go, or do we try to make somebody aware of it or make others aware of it? And I think the decision to make the call to address it, even though it was very minor, was probably a good call by the group that was there, and we involved the others in the people that were responsible for the piping, and let them know that there was a dent, and that was probably going to be an issue later on if we didn't do something about it. And they made the call, helped make the call with us that it gets replaced. So I think that quality is truly important in a situation like that. They made the call to, even though it was a minor dent, it was something that we could have had an issue with later on. The client actually decided that, yeah, this is something that we really just don't want in our pipe since we know about it. So it was nice to know that the group as a whole were able to make that decision to bring it to our attention so that it can get taken care of. We gained a lot of respect with them, so that they can trust us with the installation of their piping. So that particular instance, we talk about it often, and we try to get the guys to understand that it's how important quality is for everything we do with every day. Not necessarily just with the installation of pipe, but it's something you carry with you all day long, and take into consideration with the group, and bring it to their attention so that everybody's on the same page of how we need to respond to issues like this.
We had one of our senior coordinators, he was getting ready to retire, so they brought me into the office to work with him. His name's Brad Richards. He was a great guy, retired, lots of knowledge, kind of overwhelming knowledge at times, but with him, I think quality was really huge. He was just pretty meticulous on everything that he did, and he made sure that things were done right and tracked, and there was a paper trail. So I mean, it was nice to see and nice to learn from him. So I was referring to as a few years back, we were doing a bunch of station work, and there was multiple stations, and we were getting a lot of materials in, and they needed to be inspected, and there was a lot of weld mapping going on, and things need to be tracked, and weld procedures needed to be assigned to certain welds and all that stuff. And just the process, like I said, the quality that he did it and showed me how to do it, and it was pretty nice to see. And
in 2007, had an incident I think every core value was present on. We had shot a service up to a building. At that time, we didn't have to have 2 points of separation on the service line. So I'd went ahead, I'd shut the curb box off, went up to the building, hooked up the new setting, tested, tapped, gassed up the new setting, looked down at my ditch bucket, didn't have an expansion plug, and you're supposed to put an expansion plug in the existing service line that you'd abandoned at that time. Well, I didn't have one, so I moved on to the next service, started doing my thing, thought, well, I'll just stop by the van on the way back when I get done with that one. Well, as I get to the next one, hey, I dig around my bucket, I find a plug, I plug that one, I come back to that house, and the hole was filled. Well, I had assumed, hey, somebody put an expansion plug on that. That's where I think that I went wrong, is in assuming that somebody had done that. I didn't follow up with any of the crew members. It was towards the end of the day. We loaded up the trucks, hey, rolled out of there, thought everything was good. Well, later on that night, as I'm at home, I get a call from Jim Wilson, said, hey, we got some issues. Get in here the next morning, get out on the job, come to find out the gas company had to come back behind us where I didn't plug that service line. The stop had gave way, and obviously gas up against the foundation. So that was a very impactful moment in my career at Miller Pipeline, because I think, it captured all 4 of our core values right there. Not in a good way, but as a young employee here, I had kind of let everybody down on all 4 of those core values. But I think the most important thing that it changed my mind was to the reputation and the quality. From that day forward, after I'd had a pretty good meeting with, I believe Jim Wilson, Scott Miller was involved, they made it pretty clear to me there, hey, if you're gonna work here, we practice safety, quality, commitment, reputation. That's what our company was built on. So I took it pretty serious from there on and tried to live every day at work by those core values.